Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth, and you're watching the 505 Sports Venture Program. Thanks for being with us today. We've got a special guest that we're going to get to in a minute after this introduction, and of course, I'm back here asking you to assist us in our movement. Those who know 505 SVF know we are the only University of New Mexico collective working with our student athletes to give them name, image, and likeness opportunities. And right now, it's a super important time in that area, specifically, but not limited to, men's basketball. We are in the midst of what is known as the transfer portal. And let me tell you, myself personally, I am counting down the minutes to midnight on April 30th when the portal closes. If you follow our Lobo men's basketball team, you know that two of our players did enter the portal, Jamal Mashburn Jr. and our friend Sebastian Forsling. However, the majority of our team is intact, including our young base. And we are in the position right now to retain our team, keep the core together, and add a few components which are necessary. The coaching staff is in the midst of recruiting. I think we'll have an announcement in the next week or two about newer Lobos. But right now we're working on retention. It's all about keeping our core together. And if you're a Lobo fan, you're a New Mexico fan, you believe in economic impact, you believe in economic development, or you just believe in the Lobos and you want to enjoy your season tickets or your fandom, it's 505sports.org. We need your help. 505sports.org. Join us. You have all the answers on the website. Let's keep this team together. Let's make it great here. All right, that's it from the shameless plug and request for money. Hang with us. We'll be back in a second with our special guest. Thanks for being here.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team is going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. See your baby, I give you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Albuquerque's leader in sports is Pro View. From pros to prep, all your favorite action. All your favorite talk shows. Find it on Pro View Networks.
We aren't all born with the same opportunities. But it's the people who care that change everything.
Get ready, Sprout, get ready.
My coach, my teacher, my older sisters, my grandma, my brother, my tutor, my dad, and my mom.
As New Mexicans, it's up to all of us to do our part.
So that no child goes without love.
And no family has to do it all on their own.
They're all our children. Every single person is called to make a difference in the life of a child.
It's up to all of us to do our part.
To pull together.
Pull together.
Pull together.
To make New Mexico the best place to be a kid.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm Kurt Roth, and this is the 505 Sports Venture Foundation program. I'd like to also, before we get started and I introduce our special guest, thank Steve Davis up the stairs in the president's chair for giving us opportunity. And behind the glass, the guy who runs the whole show here, Adrian, our producer. We wouldn't be here without you guys. All right, enough of that. I want to introduce a good friend, special guest, ESPN radio personality, 1017 The Team, Sam Hauser. How you doing, Sam?
Good to be here.
It's great to have you guys here. I'm glad that Joe let you get out of the salt mine for an hour or so to talk some New Mexico sports. Well, we talked off camera. We talked about the first thing that's big right now is now that college basketball has ended. We've got Lobo fans who now say the season started again. Let's go. What's going to happen next year? In the past, it was all about recruiting. Like, who are we going to get?
Right.
Who's going to come in? Do we have late signings, et cetera, et cetera? Well, now the transfer portal has made it a whole different game.
It's its own season now. It really is. College basketball has become what football was. It's a 12-month-a-year sport, and I think you said it best. It's nerve-wracking. You're counting down the minutes. It's exciting because it makes you pay attention to what's going on all the time, but I think everybody's right there with you. May 1st cannot get here. I guess midnight at April 30th. They can't get here soon enough. Whatever happens, it'll be. I mean, I thought it was so interesting. 20 minutes after the season ended, Coach Pitino was already talking about free agency. This is all free agency, so he understands, but yeah, it's all we can do is wait and hope for the best. But I think this program's also in a really unique spot because, I mean, I don't have to tell anybody, like, this is a community team. And so now there's just this avenue to really put your stamp on it is through 505 Sports Venture Foundation.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I couldn't have said it better, and I keep saying it over and over again. That's our message, is that we are a community team. I've worn it out. We're the Green Bay Packers of college basketball. We don't have, we got a couple minor league teams. I ran into an Isotopes buddy who just bemoans the fact that they're the Colorado Rockies franchise and that they're not going to be good at AAA. They're not going to have a winning team because the Rockies are not a good organization, or at least talent-wise they're not. And so the AAA team just isn't as good as the competition. But it's fun. You root, you take the kids out, beautiful setting, but you're not there with that intense rooting interest. And again, minor league players change weekly.
Right.
They come and go. You don't get the affiliation. Now, that's also part of the downside of the transfer portal. People are telling me, we don't get to root for our kids. So there's that, but we're in a unique position here. Today, other than the two guys who went in the portal, our whole team's coming back. And it's a really good team.
It's a great team. I mean, went to the NCAA tournament. You get to the NCAA tournament, you did something right. Yeah, there's a lot more teams in there than there used to be, but as much as we would have liked to maybe been a 6 seed or a 7 seed, you're still one of the top teams in the country. And you think about NIT last year to the tournament, yeah, you're doing something right. And of course, it all starts with Coach Pitino and the staff. Whatever it'll be. But this foundation is kind of where you would want it to be for the third year of a head coach.
Well, no doubt about it. I think because of the transfer portal, people's expectations tend to be a little more demanding, which is strange because players can come and go. You've seen teams add significant contributors out of the transfer portal and change the whole face of the team. But literally, 3-year progression is uncanny. In essence, he recruited on Zoom out of the pandemic. We had a horrible team the year before. Sorry, I mean they played in Texas. They won 4 games. It was a disaster.
St. George, Utah.
Yeah, St. George, right? And I guess Vegas, or I don't know. That was football in the parking lot.
Yeah,
we don't even want to think about that. So they were competitive, and let's face it, we'll talk about some individual players. Competitive the first year, at least. Last undefeated team the second year in the country.
Right.
Didn't have the depth. we're in the second year. Third year in a very difficult Mountain West. They finished sixth, okay. But we're right there, NCAA. And again, a good base. And again, let's talk about, you get it on the air, the community's engaged again.
They are. It's wonderful to see. I mean, there's always going to be, no matter what they do, people are going to come and gravitate to Lobo basketball. I mean, I think we're still a little bit, and maybe spoiled's not the right word, but when you see that first season of Coach Pitino, when there's still 8,000-10,000 people in the pit, a lot of school, a lot of places it would be 3,000-4,000. So I mean, there's always going to be that love for it, but. Yeah, I mean, it is the ultimate recruiting tool, and that's always the interesting thing for Coach Pitino is, what last year True and JT, I think at least one or both of them came in to see one of those crazy sellout games, and you'd like to think that there's still an element of, I want to play at a place where I'm going to get myself and my family taken care of, but I also want to be in a place where people care about this team, and that's really the selling point right now is you see that pit, and especially for some of these guys right now, like some of the younger players you were talking about, it's your time now. Make of this team what you want to make of it.
That's exactly it for all you people out there. Sam said it perfectly. We can guarantee a major league contender here. Top 20 in a couple of these two early polls already. So they're starting out in a great spot. We've got the nucleus. No one else is in the transfer portal, New Mexico, like 505sports.org. Join us, give us a hand. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back and kind of talk about the end of the Lobo season and some contributions from some significant guys. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Teenagers love a party, especially during prom and graduation season. Often, alcohol is involved. Some parents think that hosting a party with alcohol in their home will keep the kids safe, but it's wrong and it's illegal. As a parent, to allow your teenagers' underage friends to consume alcohol on your property is a felony. Parents who host lose the most. Don't be a party to teenage drinking.
This is a program of the Drug Free Action Alliance. For more information, go to burnco.gov/do-not-host.
If you're drunk, blasted,
Intoxicated.
ripped, plastered, destroyed, bruh. If you're like this, you shouldn't be driving.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Mir here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Light skin shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Seriously? You expect me to drive while you aren't wearing seatbelts?
What's the worst that can happen?
Seriously? Buckle up. Okay, thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here in ProView Studios with our special guest, Sam Hauser, ESPN 1017 The Team. Sam, again, thanks for being here. All right, Lobo men's basketball had, for some it was a disappointing end. One and done, okay, not what you wanted, but considering they ran the table in Vegas.
Well, and also what ended up being the case where Clemson, then all of a sudden, none of us knew a lick about Clemson outside of just reading or seeing stuff, and then they go on and they beat Baylor. They get to the Sweet 16. They almost get to the Elite Eight. So it makes it a little bit easier knowing, and that's the luck of the draw in March. Your team gets hot at the right time, so it makes it a little bit easier knowing that, if Clemson had gone and gone blown out by Baylor in the next round, maybe it feels a little bit different. But I don't know. I always just found it so interesting, just the reaction, because it was almost as if the Lobos had been to the tournament 10 years in a row, not snapping a drought of 10 years of not getting there. I mean, little by little, maybe you feel a little bit empty about the NIT and then losing in the first round, but you get to the tournament, and we'll see what happens next year. Of course, it all starts with getting to April 30th as fast as humanly possible. But yeah, I mean, they got to the tournament.
They got to the tournament, and it couldn't have been a better time in Vegas. It never happened before. No team won 4 games in Vegas ever before. So the Lobos came in, 6th seed in a tough conference. And of course, the weird part about it is, in retrospect, we learned that if they hadn't won the tournament, they weren't getting in the NCAA.
Couldn't believe it.
So we were all celebrating in Vegas Thursday night. Beat Boise, nice performance, didn't have to sweat the final couple of minutes. They're in. Then Colorado State, they're in. Had to beat San Diego State, and just an incredible performance by the team.
Oh, it was. I mean, this was the perfect team to make that kind of run, to be the first one to do 4 games in 4 days, with Pitt West being back the way that it was, with this team and the makeup and the star power and everything else. You couldn't have written it any better. I'm with you. I started looking at the bracket potentially after Boise. It was unbelievable, but that was really how much competition there was, and especially when you consider, Nevada shows up to the quarterfinals, puts up just an unbelievable performance against Colorado State, but they didn't have to worry.
Right.
It's a roll of the dice in March. I guess you just never know, but these guys were playing like it didn't matter whether they were in or not. They were playing with one goal in mind, to win that championship.
And it was sweet, and all those Lobo fans at Pitt West, we all enjoyed it. It was great to see it. And I have to say, kudos to the Lobo fans again. After not being in the Friday night game, I consider that success. You get to the semifinals in the Mountain West. That's big time. It had been that first Paul Weir year. We got to the finals, which was came out of nowhere, hot down the end. But considering the lack of success in Vegas, to see that many New Mexicans, and it grew each day. People decided to come from Albuquerque. And not just Albuquerque. There's Lobo fans throughout Nevada, California, who showed up. It was great. All right, well, we can't talk about the run, and we can't talk about Lobo basketball without getting to 2 guys who basically came with Richard Pitino, pretty much sight unseen, apparently, who were the foundation of this great recovery, and that's Jamal Mashburn Jr. and Jalen House.
Right.
Jamal Mashburn Jr. had another year, and for various reasons, I believe, decided not to come back to New Mexico. He's in the transfer portal. I would not be surprised if he doesn't play college basketball. I think he's probably going to look for an overseas deal. But let's talk about what he brought to the program. Leading scorer last year?
Leading scorer in the Mountain West, and just revitalized Lobo basketball. It was almost kind of fitting for him to go, and we would have loved to have him back for another year, but it was almost fitting knowing that Jalen House wasn't coming back, that it was almost a storybook that, okay, he's gone, now we left the program so much better than where we found it. Now I can kind of go off in my own thing too. Remember, he followed Richard Pitino from Minnesota, so now he's got one more year if he wants it to kind of write his own story.
Right. An amazing guy. I got to know him pretty well. Obviously, you see him in the public eye, articulate, thoughtful, but a real warrior. And I don't think New Mexicans know, and because he didn't let on. He was really hurt this year, and he played with a bad shooting hand. And he's a shooter. And the guy didn't miss a practice his first 3 years. Now he's sitting out a month, and it had to impact his game. It had to, and his hand, I don't think ever recovered. And I was a little disappointed. There was a lot of negative social media.
Yeah, and in a way, it's a good thing because it means people want the best. You'd like to try to take the silver lining approach of it. Means they care. It means they want the best for this team. But there's no doubt it weighed on these guys, and it's something that we all have to get used to. It was interesting. Dan Hurley, a week or so ago, came out and basically said, I'm coaching differently now in this world of NIL because these guys are making money now, and there has to be a different expectation, and it's something that we all have to get used to. But ideally, it wouldn't be that way where he felt like he had to be Superman.
Yeah, no, I mean, Hurley's right. There is a difference, a different expectation, but I still cannot wrap my head around Lobo fans booing one of the most significant players in recent history.
Booing him, wanting him benched, wanting him, not playing. This is no different than any other team. You live and die by the guys that got you here. And if Mash is going to miss shots, yeah, is it easy in hindsight to say, well, somebody else should have been taking them? Mm-hmm. Probably, but anybody who's a fan of any team would always say, if it's between Mash taking a shot or somebody else taking a shot, I want Mash taking the shot.
Hey, I'm going to leave it at this. Thank you, Mashburn, Jamal Mashburn Jr.
Absolutely.
But those two jump shots at the end that finally beat Steve Alford in Nevada, priceless. Worth the whole season. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We'll be back with our final segment. Stay with us, please. All right, so let's get...
Hey, look! It's Dwight Goodman!
Boom! This place is hot. Let's see if anyone needs my help. How about I drive you madman home, huh?
I got this, Dwight. I'm the designated driver. Boom.
Sweet. Does anyone need Dwight's help getting home tonight?
No thanks, Romeo. I've got a taxi all lined up.
Drive safe, Dwight.
Boom! Boom!
Young driver, this one. Hard to get her out. She'd been drinking. This one. Both of them, gone. They'd been drinking, and he drove clear off the road. This was my family. Drunk driver hit us. And my wife and our daughter, they didn't make it.
What's going on, Lobo Nation? Ja'Cory Krosky-Miller here.
And I'm Devin Dampier. The Lobo football team's going through some changes, but we're here to stay.
We'll put in the work on the field and in the weight room, but we'll need your help off the field.
505 Sports Venture is leading the charge in the NIL space.
And you can be part of it.
Shorty, she better than all my intentions. Locked in, shorty, you got my attention. CEO, baby, I get you the business. Touchdown and pay you a visit.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. We're here in ProView Studios with Sam Hauser, ESPN 107, The Team, talking Lobo basketball. Again, I'm going to hit you at the end of the segment, 505sports.org. We need your help. This is a community-based thing, movement, whatever you want to call it. It's all about Albuquerque, the state of New Mexico. Let's keep things going here. All right, Sam, we talked about one of my favorite all-time Lobos, Jamal Mashburn Jr. Let's talk about the other guy. 3 years, exciting, dynamic, maybe the most hated player in the Mountain West if you're not a Lobo fan. People love to get on him. He finished up with an amazing MVP run in Vegas, Jalen House.
And it was interesting because at the time when they first came, I remember, Richard Pitino comes from Minnesota, and I'm thinking, could you imagine if he could bring Jamal Mashburn Jr. with him? Like, what a big deal that would be for New Mexico basketball. And, of course, Jalen House, I actually had a little bit more of a connection to Jalen House because growing up in South Florida, I was growing up at a time when his dad was playing for the Miami Heat. So, I mean, the House name, let's do it. We saw he was kind of just pigeonholed as this defensive guy at Arizona State. And, I mean, yeah, what he got to do here and what we got treated to for 3 years, I mean, these guys will go down as two of the greatest Lobos of all time. What more can you say?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Jalen got to be one of the most exciting Lobos, if not the most exciting Lobo of all time. The energy, the determination, it's hard to describe that style of basketball. There's really no one like him in college basketball that I've seen. And the talent, obviously, the fearlessness, taking the big shot. You had to love the dad, Eddie House, in Vegas, and with the censored.
That's my son.
That's my lovely son.
Showing up on One Shining Moment with his number 10 jersey.
Both of them in One Shining Moment. Jalen sliding across the floor. So again, for all Lobo fans, I think for the majority, we all share in it. We're grateful for the 3 years. We're grateful. And I'm sure as a young guy when he got here, we saw maturation on the court, and I got to see it off the court. I have many interactions with Jalen. Became a father in Albuquerque.
Right.
But with his buddy, Mash, they put this program on their shoulders. And they brought it back, not to respectability, better, to top 20 preseason. We will be in the top 20 preseason next year. And I want to say again, behalf of all Lobo fans, Mash and Jalen, thanks. You did a great job. And we'll never forget it. We love you for it. All right, now, a couple minutes left. We've got coming back 3 guys who I see as the core. I mean, I don't want to downplay Nelly. He's back. Mustafa Amzil, he's back. But I see the core being J.T. Toppin, Donnie Dent, and True Washington.
Yeah, I mean that's your core. There's nothing against those other guys if that's your core. That's your core, and then every team's got one. It was Mash and House was the core, and then everybody else was kind of around them. I mean, Donnie's been in such an interesting situation because we really got to see his full skill set this year. He's been in this kind of place of being behind Mashburn and House, and I love the way that they figured out a way to put him around those two rather than being behind him. I mean, there were points this season where they were deferring to him. They were getting him the ball, and that's why once he came back this year, it started to become a lot more, I mean, outside of just the things that you can't anticipate with NIL, the feeling was if he's back this year, then now it's really his team, JT and True, like you said. So, no, I mean, the sky's the limit for these guys. And now you got a couple of exciting freshmen coming in, and you can really start to build those skill sets around what everybody does well.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Donnie has the keys to the vehicle this year. This is his thing. And I also think that's you made a great point about how they kind of interacted, and you mentioned they deferred at times to Donnie. Great job by the Lobo coaching staff to actually use the talent they had. Not that easy. One basketball out there, and you had Mash Jr., a shooter who needs the ball, and you kind of had 2 point guards or 2 guards that need the ball. I don't know what you call Jalen, but they did a great job.
They really did. Last year, it was hard to imagine those 3 guys on the floor together, but they really figured it out, and that would have been my messaging to those 3 guys as soon as the game against Clemson was over is, here's the keys, boys.
That's it. Anyway, Sam, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We love to have you guys from Sam Hauser, ESPN 107, the team.
101.
101, the team. I love to say 107. 101.7, the team. Sorry, Joe. And thanks for Mr. O'Neill for allowing us to use you for a few minutes
Anytime.
today. Anyway, Lobo fans, we got a minute left. I'm going to ask you again. The portal countdown is on. 3 weeks or less till April 30th. This Lobo men's basketball team is intact today. We have a great future looking at us. We need your help. 505sports.org. We have memberships with benefits at $20 a month, but our internet system, you can give us $1. We need everyone's help. It's a community effort. We're on the precipice of being a dominant team in the Mountain West, but it is the transfer portal. So, once again, 505sports.org. Come on in, join our movement. We've got great momentum. We've got a great base. We've got the pit. We've got the fan base. Great coaching staff. It's up to you. Let's join in with us. Let's keep this thing going. All right, that's it for this week. Thanks again to the crew here at ProView. We'll see you next week for another episode of the 505 Sports Venture Program. Thanks for watching.